Hey guys, it's Christy. Thanks for clicking on the channel. Today is another dinner that we're making at the house. So have you guys seen those cool like skeleton molds, and they're putting pizza sauce, pepperonis, and mozzarella cheese, and they come out really cool? I could not find a skeleton mold, but I found these cool pumpkin molds, and I actually got this from Walmart, and it's pretty sturdy. And I'm not gonna be using pizza sauce. So for mine, I actually started it earlier this morning. I have a chuck roast that I put in the crock pot and let that cook while I was at class today. And then we're also going to chop up some onions and some mushrooms. And ours is gonna be more of a have you ever seen those hand pies? Like the shepherd's pie hand pies or the mincemeat pies? And that's the direction that I'm going with my dinner. And then of course I'm gonna make just like a sour cream sauce, maybe thin it out to put with the pie, the handheld pie. But let me start from the beginning this morning in the crock pot because I did get some of it, and then we'll work through the rest.
All right, guys, before I put this bad boy into my crock pot, I'm gonna make sure that I season it well. I did salt, pepper, onion, garlic, olive oil, and I'm going to sear it on all sides and then stick it in the crock pot for about 6 hours. I'm gonna do mine on low. So let me get this seared and I'll transfer it to the crock pot and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, ignore how old my crock pot is. It's a little banged up on the inside, but that's fine. So my little chuck roast is going in my crock pot. I put a little bit of water because this chuck roast will give off liquid. And I'm just gonna shred this up to go into the little handheld pies. So I've got it on low, 4 to 6 hours. I'm gonna go to my garden and I'm gonna grab a rosemary sprig, and I'm just gonna throw that on top. If you have beef stock or even chicken stock that you wanna put in for like extra flavoring, I would do that. I just don't have any at the moment. Oh, yes I do. Pause. I forgot I made stock the other day and I froze it into my little cube. So this is like just a little concentrated stock bone broth in a cube. So I'm just gonna drop that in. I'm gonna put the lid on this guy after I go get my rosemary, and we'll see it when I get home from class today.
All right, guys, so right now I just chopped up some shiitake mushrooms. Make sure you wash them or wipe them off before you chop them up. And I'm going to try and cut the onion. I'm gonna actually use the entire onion. I have a sweet onion here, and I'm just gonna try and chop it down into smaller pieces, maybe chop them up as small as you can. They are gonna go inside the pie, and the molds are not terribly big, and they will cook down a little bit as they sweat out. I'm gonna try and caramelize them the best I can. I do have the oven preheating to 375 while I'm doing this. And then I'm gonna get a skillet out here in a moment, and we're just gonna saute the onions and the mushrooms together so they can kind of intertwine their flavors. Oh, and this is the chuck roast from this morning. I just shredded it up. You can see that it still has its crispy bits. Into the skillet we have olive oil, and we're gonna dump the onions so they can start sauteing up. I have a bit of the onion skin still in there, darn it. They always stick to my hands, no matter what I do. And then we're gonna add the shiitake mushrooms. I will season this a little bit later. I'm just gonna get them going in the hot skillet for right now and let them sweat out a bit, and then we'll add salt and pepper to these guys in just a few moments. And you can cook these down to as caramelized as you prefer. Then we're still sweating these guys out, cooking them, just giving them a good stir every now and then so that they don't burn. And we're gonna add salt and pepper to taste. I'm really excited for how these pumpkin molds are gonna turn out. We're gonna give this a toss so that the salt and pepper can get incorporated into all of the pieces that we have in the pan here. Just keep stirring it just to make sure that it doesn't burn. You can stop, like I said, at any point. All right, so now I just have the Pillsbury crescent rolls, and I'm taking 2 of them, and I kind of pinched, you know, the diagonal line that separates them. I'm trying to pinch them together so that it's just one square. You can find them that it's just like the pastry, but my Albertsons did not have them. So we're just gonna work with what we got. So I did spray my pumpkin tin down a little bit, and I had a little bit of difficulties trying to figure out how I'm gonna get the puff pastry into this little mold without having any holes. So you just work with it, get your little square to the size that you want, and I kind of just ended up just laying it over the top, and then eventually I did start to like, yeah, just fold it into the mold. And I thought to myself, as it bakes, it's going to puff up and it's going to fill in those like gaps of air, if that's what you want to call it. So I'm just going to do this to another one just so you guys can see what we're doing here. I'm going to do the same thing to this guy. So now I've got 2 in here, and apparently I missed filming. I put the shredded chuck roast in, and then I put the mushrooms and onions, or some cheese, mozzarella cheese, and here comes the mushrooms and onions. At first I'm using a fork, and it's not getting me anywhere, guys. So I got my spatula, and so we put the shredded chuck roast, some mozzarella cheese, and then my onions and mushrooms mixture. And now I'm just gonna fold over the back, and I'm gonna give it a little pat to make sure that all the edges are sealed, so none of our filling is able to escape. And then I pushed it in the top just to make sure that it gets the little stem of the pumpkin, because I'm really hoping at this point, that my pumpkin shape turns out, because I didn't plan anything extra for dinner. So have you guys seen Chopped? This is all of my basket ingredients in one item. So it needs to come out good. Okay, so I eventually got all 6 of them, and then I had a little bit extra, so I just made small pockets and put it in the oven for about 13 minutes, and this is how they came out. I did use the cookie sheet on the back of the pumpkin tin on top of it, and then just flipped it over, and they came out so nice. The guys on top did get a little bit darker, but that's totally fine. They tasted just the same. They were delicious. I was so excited how they turned out. They looked so cool.
I'm gonna let it cool because they're still like
and then
hot.
I did make my sour cream dip. I just put sour cream, a little bit of milk to thin it out just a little bit. I could have thinned it out a little bit more. And then onion powder and garlic powder to give it a little bit more flavor to go with the hand pie.
And their lives have been, totally disrupted. So
and this is what we have. I tried to drizzle, didn't turn out that great, but here we go. And inside, the chuck roast and the cheese and the mushrooms and onions.